Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am coming to you with hold on, with a Auntie say it isn't so, Auntie say it isn't so. Was this all a plot between Sumit, his mama, and his daddy for him not to marry Jenny? Let's talk about it, shall we? Taking off my little bedroom slippers, boots. Okay. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining the family. To all of my nieces and nephews and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. So, yesterday's episode left me kinda with my eyebrows up, right? We all have watched the story with Sumit and Jenny now for what, 2 years, right? Two years, I guess it is. It's been two seasons. Yeah. And we have all been fascinated by this story. So I thought about it today, and I thought about all of the things that we have seen and all of the things that we have heard. And I just wanted to have a conversation with you and see exactly how you all feel. So last night's episode of 90 Day Fiance the other way, we saw Submit mother and father at their home. And during this conversation that they were having, Submit was pleading and begging about wanting to marry Jenny, wanting to stay in a relationship with her, how miserable he was in the marriage that his parents had arranged for him. And I got to thinking, there is a word that has been thrown around by both Submit and now by his mother. It appeared that that word that was thrown around worked for Submit's parents to back up off of him and to give him a couple of weeks in order to get his stuff together. As we all remember, Submit went over to his parents' house to plead with them to allow him to marry Jenny. This isn't the first time that Submit basically tried to beg them to go along with this. The first time we saw him doing it, he had mentioned to his mom and to his dad that he was so miserable that several times he had thought about doing the to himself. And his parents, like I said, they kind of backed up off of it and all that kind of stuff. Now we have turned the tables. When we first met Submit, we met Submit as a telemarketer, right? One of those mofos who calls you to see whether or not you want to buy something that is probably some crap. And he was dating Jenny. At the time, a lot of us did not know that there had been a history between Submit's mom and Jenny. Later on, pictures started showing up on social media where Jenny had indeed a relationship with Submit's mom, which Jenny brought up in the conversation with the mother, right? She talked about how the mother took her shopping, how she had outfits made for her, some of the outfits she's probably wearing while she is with this woman's with this woman's child. So Jenny now had been staying at the house, as we all know, and so her and the mother kind of know one another. They are not strangers. So the mother allowed Jenny to come into the household, and Jenny was, upstairs creeping with her son. And so as a result of this brought embarrassment onto and shame onto the family. And the mother separated, cut her friendship off with Jenny, as I probably would have done myself. There's no way in the world that I would want to be friends with someone if they creeping, and they, 30, 40 years older than them. I probably would have been upset about it too. But anyway, so Jenny goes back to America and she comes back and forth, to be with him several times. All right. So this is the third time the charm. Jenny is more determined than ever before that she is going to make a husband out of Sumit. But does Sumit really want to be a husband? So let's examine that. When we first met Sumit was, I believe his name was Michael Jones or something. Excuse me, y'all. Some American name. Um, he had picked up, and I think it was Michael Jones. Let me know down in the chat what it was. And so we met him, and he allegedly, this was the storyline. The storyline was that he was ghosting her. So Jenny decided that, I mean, he wasn't ghosting her, he was tricking her, he was catfishing her. And so Jenny made a decision to go and to visit him after he had told her, that I'm faking. So she signs up for a student visa program. She signs up for at the local college to be an international exchange student and goes over to Sumit's house. And so at this point, Sumit and Jenny are both up to no good, right? And so they decide to allow this exchange student to come into their household, and she stays with them, according to Jenny, 4 months. Now, Sumit is good at the game. All right. At first, when we first met him, he was living with his parents, but traveling, quite a bit of ways to go and stay with Jenny. And the family suspected that all of these things were going on and, approached them, brought the wife, the father-in-law, and everybody to the household to surprise Miss Jenny. And Jenny was, flabbergasted. She said that they snatched him out of her arms, and she was crying with her man hands. And, we were like really feeling for Jenny because we didn't know the whole entire story. We still, I believe, don't know the whole entire story. We only know what they have allowed us to know about the relationship. So most of what we're going to be saying tonight, I mean, well, no, not most. All of what we're going to be saying tonight is alleged, and it is our opinions. It's my opinion as a reviewer, and it's your opinion as a niece and a nephew, a family member to the channel. So the two of them decide that, it didn't work out the first time. She wasn't able to get the family to agree to this. Sumit was still married, although he had not even told her that he was married to this chick. So Sumit has always had, the upper hand on Jenny. He's always been able to play the game on her, if you will, because he knows that she's an older woman and desires to have this younger man, and Sumit know that he's been putting it on her like real good and all of that kind of stuff. He knows that Jenny will do almost anything to stay with him because he has told multiple lies, and regardless of what those lies has been, Jenny has continued to stay in this relationship with this mofo. Y'all don't forget to hit that thumbs up button when you come into the room. Okay, thank you. So they have decided that they're going to stay together. Jenny is now back in America, living on her daughter's sofa, according to Jenny, but she still has a desire to be with Yazan. Despite what everybody has said, despite what everybody suspects, Jenny is like, no, I am going to win this thing. I think that a lot of what Jenny is doing is almost like a get back to the mother. And I think that she feels this way or is doing the things that she is doing because she's like, I am going to win this. I am in love with him, according to her. And Sumit says that he is in love with Jenny. But Sumit was the one who quit his job. He could have still had a job, okay? And even if he couldn't hold the one that he had, which was quite a distance away from Jenny, he still could have been gainfully employed somewhere. And I truly believe that his parents said, you know what, in return for causing or making your life miserable, we're going to allow you to sow your oats. We're going to allow you to stay in this relationship with this woman, right? It's all speculation, in my opinion. We're going to allow you for a time period to be with Jenny. We're going to allow you to get a home. We're going to pay for your divorce because we feel like we owe it to you. In the meantime and in between time, Jenny, the desperate big man hand American, in my opinion, is thinking that she's going to marry Sumit. But Jenny has been led to believe that the only way that she can marry Sumit is with his parents' approval. Now, keep that in your mind because this is where Jenny's head is. Jenny's head is, I can't have a relationship with him. We're going to have to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing his parents. Try to convince them. I'm going to stand on the backside. I'm going to be the one who's going to tell you what to do. And you're going to be the one who's going to act this out. Now, we have seen Sumit talk to his friends. We've seen him talk to his family. And nobody really, except for one friend, has been supportive of this relationship. But certainly the brother who has the heart of the parents, who has been the mediator, if you will, between Sumit and the parent, he knows that the parents in no uncertain terms are going to accept this marriage between the two of them. So Sumit is in now the pandemic. He wears a card around his neck, all of them wearing it, that is supposed to protect them from this pandemic that has hit everybody, right? During this time period, Jenny's visa is about to expire. So Jenny, as a very, forceful woman, wanting what she wants, knowing that her time is about to expire, is pushing the envelope. We got to go down. We got to get married. We got to talk to the lawyer. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to get the paperwork in. My visa is about to expire. I'm almost going to have to go back to America. And Sumit knows that the pressure is now on him. He had to, when he got divorced, he was out there with his dad. He was celebrating. He was doing what he was doing with the whoop whoop and boop boop boop. And Jenny, who calls herself sitting at home waiting on him, calls him on the phone. Can't even wait for him to get home to tell her that he is indeed divorced. Sumit is finally free. He is free. He is back in the days of his youth. But yet and still he has this old American woman who will not leave him alone and is pressuring him to get married. So here we go with a plot. Was there a plot? Is there a plot? So the parents who knew where he lived had never been over to the house. Almost every meeting that they've had has been at their house. Jenny is familiar with the house, but the parents make a decision that they're going to come over in an Uber or a jitney or whatever it is you want to call it to have this hoedown or showdown at the hoedown. Ooh, it's time to have the conversation. But before we have that conversation, Sumit has now discovered, after having a conversation with the lawyer that Jenny pushed, that he can get married to Jenny without his parents' permission. There is a loophole in the game. He doesn't have to ask his parents. He's already broken all the rules. So it's not like Sumit doesn't mind breaking the rules. It is not like he has a problem with breaking the traditional ways and just doing what the hell he wants. Because after all, he's living with an American woman. He's gotten a divorce from his wife. He cheated on her. It cost him $20,000 to get out of this relationship. So it's not that Sumit has a problem with breaking the rules, y'all. He don't have a problem with breaking the rules. And so now he has a loophole where a priest, okay, if you will, a rabbi, or whatever it is, I don't want to be disrespectful, out of my ignorance, excuse me, he has been told, you can go ahead and marry her. There is nothing stopping you, not even your parents. Now, mind you, as we said, Sumit has not been following any of the traditional ways of having this relationship with Jenny whatsoever. So now he makes a decision to bring his brother in. Sumit is fully aware of how his parents feel about this. So he doesn't need the brother to validate anything. But he calls the brother over to the house with his new wife. I didn't see them prepare no food. I saw them try to clean up, but they didn't prepare any food. Only to have his brother tell him or suggest to him that you have one last conversation with mom and dad. We've already seen him get on the floor. We've already heard the threat from Sumit. Now, Sumit knows that Jenny is desperate, that her man hands wants to be able to sign a marriage certificate. Jenny does not want to go back to America defeated at all. Let me put my glasses on. Thank you so much, HD, for the 1999 Super Chat. Thanks for being you. Thank you for being you. And thank you so much for the Super Chat. I'm hoping that you are enjoying this tonight. Okay? Thank you. Hey, Josie Boo. So anyway, Jenny is pressuring him. He knows that that visa is coming up. It's about to expire. He been living out his fantasy of being with Jenny and being free for just a little bit under the guidance and the eye of his family. So the brother tells him, Mom and Dad are not. They are not going to approve of this. Period, poo. But Sumit, knowing that, makes a decision to have one last conversation with his parents. And so here we go with the plot. So Sumit parents come over, they're on a jitney, and they want to have a conversation. The father is the first one who begins to have this conversation with Jenny. He is the one who is leading the charge. They got their plan A, and then they got their plan B, and their plan B is a Hail Mary. Okay? Stay with me, y'all. The daddy starts telling them, starts doing the personal attacks. The daddy says, you can't do no better than his son. He tries to petition to his self-esteem. He said, you can't get nobody else. This is what you want? A woman who is 100 years old? See, daddy trying to go for the jugular. He trying to go for his manhood. He trying to go for Jenny, I don't know what hood, but he trying to go for something with Jenny. So the daddy is just hammering on her man hands, how she look, how she smell. She 500 years old. Son, you can't do no better than this. And they just gone. Sumit now wants to do the drama thing. Crash all the dishes and knock all the incense and the mirth on the floor. And he just want to turn the candles over and go off and talk about how miserable he has been. He wants to remind his parents of what they didn't do. And so the mom and dad freeze up. But they said, we got a big gun. Got ace in the hole. We got deuce. Jenny gets up and leaves out of the room and says, I can't do this to this family, because she sees all the chaos and the turmoil. And so she, for 1 minute, retreats and goes into the room, and then something kicks into her head and she says, you know what? I've been in this and I'm coming back out and I'm about to swing on their asses. So Jenny comes back out the room with the fan in her hand, and she's just a fanning. Because now she's had to shut everything down so she can get down to the whole, you know, the hard Jenny. The Jenny that doesn't give a damn. The Jenny that gives you the middle finger. She wants to be that Jenny. She's Jenny from the hood. She's Jenny from the block. Now Jenny says that this is a spectacle. This is a farce. It's a joke. Jenny now is swinging, okay, with everything she's got. Jenny said that she thinks that this is ridiculous. And Jenny said, I ain't going no, and I am telling you, I'm not going. Okay, Jenny says she's not going. Even through the rough times, okay, she's not going anywhere. And so now Mama gets involved. And Mama says, Jenny, do you like this? Mommy is now appealing to her. Woman to woman, mama to mama. Now she's being mama. She ain't sitting back no more. And Sumit, when he plead and begged, he up in mama lap. And Jenny is sitting there. Now, mama is appealing to that mama instinct, to the extent that she had Jenny talk about her experience as a mother. So mama tells her that she needs to be ashamed and that she should treat him like a son. Jenny says, he is not my son, he's your son. And then she begins to talk about her experience with her daughter and how she just wanted her daughter to be happy. But mama said, shame. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Then Jenny makes a decision that she's going to talk about how much they loved her. And mama said, I tell you what, I'd already said that y'all not getting married over my dead body. Mama said, period, I'm never going to approve of this. And if you watch Sumit's body language, see, you got to watch body language. When his mother began to say this stuff, he just kept saying, she's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. It ain't at the point anymore where he's talking about marriage. He's talking about she's not going anywhere. Now, Sumit is coming to this not as a man who is in love, but a man who is ready to sit at the negotiation table. Sumit's mother says, I will off myself right here. Now, Sumit, as I said before, Sumit had already used the same excuse with them in order to get them to do what he wanted them to do. And now the mama is pulling out her deuces. Wow. She uses it. And Sumit puts his hand in his head. I believe, in my opinion, to hold back the laughter and the smile. They thought that they were going to be able to appeal to that part of Jenny, but Jenny was done. Jenny had that fan in her hand and was like, you know what, this is sick. I truly believe that there were some things that we did not see. And the father, who had never spoke one lick of English, made sure that it was interpreted the right way. See, because when Sumit interpreted, he said, you know, Jenny, they said that if we get married, they will die. The dad said, no. She said that she will herself. And he said it in English to make sure that it was communicated the way that mama meant it. Sumit now says, I got an out. Now Sumit, the man who had been fighting all this time, succumbs to his mother's cry and says, I don't know whether or not it's true or not, but I will not have that on me. Sumit. Then negotiates. I'll go 50-50 with you. She gets to stay. I get to sleep with her and now come home. But I won't marry her. A man who loves a woman and wants to marry a woman will cross the biggest ocean, will fly and do it, like he will do whatever he has to do in order to be with that woman, especially when he has an out. Was this a plot? Was this by design? Was this a setup? And the only person that didn't know was Jenny? Did he pull out his biggest ace in the hole? And that was his mama. See, Sumit, regardless of what we believe, attempted to honor his mother and his father. He knows he has a $20,000 debt, that he's indebted to them. Jenny, Sumit had indicated on multiple occasions that he was feeling pressured by Jenny. What better way to get out of this marriage? And I'm just asking a question, not making a statement. What better way to get out of a marriage than to have your mama vulnerable? Sumit backed up off that thing, and there was such a relief. Jenny was defeated and was like, you know what? I thought that the third time would be a charm. Sumit never mentioned a ring ceremony, although he mentioned it to the brother. He never mentioned a ring ceremony to his parents. The only thing that Sumit mentioned to his parents was that he wanted to be with Jenny, not to marry Jenny. Because he negotiated like that. And it just was such a relief in him when they made a decision, him and his mama, not Jenny, because he never included Jenny in on that conversation. He made that decision with his mother, where Jenny couldn't even understand it. Jenny needed an interpreter for everything and didn't get that. And he and his mama made that decision right up underneath her nose. And now Jenny has to go back home. Sumit said that he's going to try to find a way to extend her visa. How? With what money? Who's going to support that decision? And I'm just asking a question because it's been on my mind. And when I went back and I looked at their body language, because although you can hear what you hear and you see what you see, communication is 72% the nonverbal. When he made that decision that he was not going to marry Jenny, the youth came back in him. The light came back in him. He was more than happy to give Jenny a ring and send that ass back home. Everything about Sumit, in my opinion, changed. His mother, after he had made the decision, looked at the father and did one of these numbers. That was the first time that we've seen our mother smile. That was the first time we saw a sparkle in her eyes. Did the mother win? Or did Sumit win? Did the daddy win? Because it sure wasn't Jenny. And my hope is that Jenny wakes up and that she really looks at this another way. Was you had, Jenny? Did they play you, Jenny? Did you think that you won? Or do you think the mother won? Jenny got that ring. Sumit said there was one thing that you wanted, and I want to make sure you get it, and that is a ring. But not only did Sumit say, this is a ring, he said, it's not an engagement ring. A man who loves a woman and really wants to be with a woman and really cares for her doesn't distinguish what that ring is. This is a what if ring. This is a if I see your ass again ring. This is a I'ma shut you up ring. This is a promise ring. This is a I can't wait until your ass goes back. Because Jenny now is down to 2 weeks. And the sad part about it is out of her desperation and her need to win and beat the family, she was elated that she got that ring. Because sometimes love is blind. It's blinder than a mofo. Jenny doesn't even realize what could possibly be going on. So I ask you, was all of this acting or a plot? Hey, Mo. Thank you for the $10 super chat. You did a great breakdown on these mofos tonight. Thank you, Boo. Absolutely. Let me read that. DSJ said, I can't believe I watched a grandma consent to being a live in girlfriend at her big age. The only people who walked away from there really, really happy was their mom and their daddy. Y'all, I'm telling you, I could be wrong in my opinion. And these are only my opinions and my observations. But it seemed like to me that this was a bigger story than what we ever believed it was. I don't believe that for 1 minute Sumit wanted to marry Jenny. And the way to get out of it, his scapegoat was his parents. They used him, he used them. And at the end of the day, he was able to get out of the relationship with the wife. I believe that Sumit has had an opportunity prior to this affair with Jenny to talk to his parents about how miserable he was. He often times said it. I've talked to you and I told you how miserable I was. And so, you know what? Infidelity was a way that he could get out. Infidelity was a way that he could get out of and buy his way out of that marriage. And guess what? If that was the case, would he have a need for Jenny anymore? He and his family have accomplished exactly what they wanted. They had the protection of the television show. This is just my opinion, my observation. Everything that they wanted, they got. The family settled on the 20,000. He didn't have to pay spousal support because the whole world is watching. 90 Day Fiancé is rated one of the top shows on Sunday. The whole world was watching. They had to get permission from them to even come there and film. So now that he's got what he's wanted, he don't need Jenny anymore. So he ships her off with a ring. Was this the plot? Was this the plan? Now what is Sumit going to do with his life? Is Jenny going to come back and be uh, um, a fourth time? Now, I know they said the third time is the charm, but what about the fourth time? Is Jenny going to come back and just continue to live out the rest of her life on 90 Day Fiancé? It appears that Jenny is 1 year older. Now, I think I've read that somewhere, and I'm not sure where I read that, but she's 1 year older than Sumit's mom. 1 year. Jenny knew it wasn't an ice cube chance in hell that she was going to marry him. And that's why she never wanted him to go to his parents' house. Remember, every time he would ask and say he was going to his parents' house, she was always fearful that he would not come back. Let me tell y'all something. If it was a plot for Sumit to get all the things that he wanted, including a divorce, it was the best twist and plot we have ever seen in real life. And it seems like Sumit and Jenny were the biggest catfish ever. Thank you all so much for being here. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what you think. Tell me what do you think that this was a game the whole entire time? Do you think that Jenny was bamboozled, hoodwinked? And if she was, did she deserve it? The father, one of the things that I want to end with for you to keep in your mind is that the father said that this was revenge. What do you think about that? And why would he say that? What evidence does he believe he has in order to say that? Love you all to pieces. Have a great night.